Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of The Complete Advisor. I am very excited to have you here. I'm very excited to have our guest here. This is a listener requested episode, and I went searching for the one guy, Matt Green, the one guy who could really help me solve and answer this question. And what we're going to talk about is this. There comes a time in your practice, if you're a builder, if you're just having a practice and it's just you and maybe some staff, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are those of you that are building practices that are going to live beyond you. There are those of you that are building practices where you're bringing in junior advisors, and there comes a time when you have to transition clients away from you to your junior advisor. And that's what we're going to talk about. I had this request. So, Matt, welcome to the episode. It is fantastic to have you on here, sir.
As always, great to see you, Dennis.
It's great to see you. Okay, so our audience, all right, and I'm just mentioning this to Matt because we just came out of the studio. Shameless plug for the awesome video we just recorded. But so our audience now is different. We're talking to other advisors here. And so you have a practice that I remember 20-some years ago when I first met you. You were Matt Green.
Yeah, insurance only, yeah.
And now you're Matt Green, Trinity Financial, multiple advisors, multiple locations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, things have definitely changed. Obviously, super blessed and all of that. And bringing in that junior advisor, right, it can be tricky.
Very.
And but it doesn't have to be. So obviously, we always like to say we want someone that's sold out for the culture, that's sold out for the philosophy of the firm, right? And has the same culture, and they understand culture, right? So we bring in that piece, bring in that junior advisor who understands those other pieces. And what's really cool is we want to have that excitement carry into the meeting with the client. So as we are introducing, like, hey, this is Ryan, or this is a Jordan. I'll just use a couple names of advisors in my practice. If bringing them in on a conversation with the current client and saying, hey, this is going to be the person that is going to be your go-to. I'm still here. I'm always going to be here, but I want you to really connect with the advisor who's going to be coming in and really helping you when you need help.
I like it. Okay, I want to back you up just a little bit. So when did you realize you had too many clients and you needed to do something?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. It's an issue of time. And obviously where there's only so many hours in the day. And as the book continues to grow and you just have to be I'm very protective of my time, right? So I want to bring in great people to help me as the book's continuing to grow, right? So it just seems like bigger and bigger all the time.
So what started breaking first, though? Your schedule or the client experience?
I felt like the client experience was starting to suffer.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, okay, I'm not doing the service side of that well. I need to create that great experience, that client experience where they're going to refer people to us. So that's what broke first.
I need your total honesty here. So when you first thought about handing off clients, what scared you?
Everything.
Was it money or identity?
It was giving up some of the wallet share. It was like it's no longer, you don't know, it's control really. Like I always say, just don't mess it up. Here you go, don't mess it up. But it's being able to give up that control and giving that and trusting your people. Like when I got to that point where, you know what, they understand the philosophy, they're sold out, they understand the cult, they understand culture of the firm, and they want to love on my people. It was almost freeing. It was like, oh my gosh, they're doing a great job. The feedback from the client is, man, I really enjoy working with that advisor.
So that is one thing I want to say to everybody. I've met in this job and as an advisor, I got to work with amazing advisors. One thing I know is that there is that control factor, and it's not a bad thing. We hear controlling or micromanagement, and I'm not saying you're that. I'm not saying you're that. But I'm saying that one of the ways that we all become very successful is we control ourselves, we control our processes, we get damn good at it, and then letting go, we have to let go a little bit to expand. That's not easy.
It's not. It's hard. But the mindset I often tell advisors is, look, don't get in your own way.
Yeah.
we tend to get in our own way sometimes. You really have to trust your people. Obviously, not micromanage them. We do a weekly meeting in our practice. We love it. Everybody's on the same page. We have an agenda. We're coming in there. It's kind of boom, boom, boom. This is what's going to happen this week. This is what next week looks like. These are people that are coming in. I can't tell you how important that is. And it keeps everybody on the same page because it becomes really easy as you grow and you got a lot of people in the office, a lot of employees going different directions. Everybody kind of can, if you will, maybe that's the word I'm looking for here. They kind of can get lost, if you will. So we want to rein that in and make sure that we are able to say, hey, we are a cohesive unit moving this way, and everybody's doing the right thing. So
I see. So here's what I think. What you're saying, I see this at places that I've been before, where there's like everyone has their territory. Yeah. Except there's this area where there's like the border of the territory, and that's where clients can get lost, and that's where things can fall into the cracks, because it's like, oh, I did my part and I took it to this far, and you're supposed to pick it up, but it stopped right along the edge. Yeah. So let me ask you this: Do you remember what finally made you pull the trigger and start handing off clients?
I remember it well. I was actually having a conversation with my wife, and I really lean on her. She has an outside perspective, right, which is super helpful. And I remember just saying, I was at that. I just can't do it. There's just not enough hours in the day. And she just said, you have to trust your people. She's the one that said that to me. And I was like, you're right. I do.
There you go.
And they're like, Matt. And she's like, Matt, your employees, they love working. They love you. They love your clients. You just have to trust that they'll do okay. And if there is an issue or something happens, right? Like things are going to happen, right? And we're people, and things get missed and things get dropped. But being able to extend grace in that moment, right, to your staff, and talk them through that and love on them, and just say, hey, okay, let's own it. We got a rule in our practice. You own it. Let's talk through it. Let's fix it. What do we need to adjust in the process to make sure it doesn't happen again?
That's right.
I mean, there's going to be bumps in the road. You just got to continue moving forward and create a good process so it doesn't happen again.
I like it. Okay, there's two paths that I want to talk to you about now. One of them was the initial, when you started transitioning, when you started moving some folks off your plate to others. But then I want to ask you a little bit when we get to the end. I want to ask you about how you do it now, because you are the rainmaker and you're the attraction, and then you move them over. Okay, so walk us through a little bit. So you make the decision. You're ready to do it. You've got the people that you trust. And now it's time to, you look over the book, you make your decision. Okay, I'm going to work with these folks, and I'm going to transition these people over to, who do we name? Kathy? Steve? Let's go with Karen. Let's take Karen back and make it a positive name.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we transition over to Karen, our junior advisor. So, one, how do you decide what clients to move?
Absolutely. So we understand and know our clients well, as you should. So, an example, Karen, let's say she loves the outdoors, she loves fitness, whatnot. Let's just, what who of our client base, we're going to know if that's a hobby or something that they're really into or they like to do. So we want to, hey, they would be a good fit, right?
So personalities.
What
about assets?
It's for us. It's more about what's the best fit, right? So.
Like it.
Because the reality is we're gonna love on our, as we call them, AAA client just as well as a single A client, right? Notice all the clients are A, or all the clients are A's. AAA, AA, single A. There you go.
No B's.
No B's. Never a B client. So while that's important to look at that, we want to make sure that the book can support also. So when you talk about the size of the client, we want to make sure that the book financially can support the client, or support the salary, right?
Yeah.
So advisors getting X, what's the revenue from this book that they're managing? Do we need to get it higher? And sometimes we have to add some more households because maybe they have more single or double A's versus triple A's. Well, I'm not afraid to throw a triple A in there. It's about revenue, looking at it from that position or that standpoint.
I like it. Okay, so did you do anything early on that you feel like was a mistake? When you're like, oh, that's not working.
I have made a few mistakes in bringing on junior advisors. I think if I could go back to do it again, and as we continue to grow, what we're going to do moving forward is I want a younger advisor, because I'm thinking, my son's coming in. I have a son that's coming as a CPA, a future attorney. How can I position them well? So I need to be smart about the people I'm bringing in, and they need to be younger than me. So it's and that was kind of an aha moment too. Like, oh my gosh, like now I'm kind of the old guy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 50, by the way. But I have to bring in younger talent. I need to bring in talent that's going to connect with the next generation, right?
I like it.
And so you need to be thinking that for sure.
I like it. Okay, so we start the process. You've made your list. You've checked it twice. Now you have to communicate that to the client. So when and how, and walk us through that.
Yeah, there's different ways to do it. You could do a client event with just those people, right? And bring in.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah, bring them in, and maybe it's wine and cheese. I'm sorry?
Did you do that?
No, I have not done that.
That's a great idea, though. I had never thought of that before.
And actually, it's funny you asked me that. That is actually what we're going to do. So I have an advisor that's coming in July. Andrew is coming over, and young, great talent, and we're going to do a client event and make that introduction. Super great evening, casual, hors d'oeuvres, some drinks, some music. We've got some great musicians in Omaha, and just kind of meet and greet and mingle and have that introduction, right? And just let these people know that, hey, and people understand that you're busy.
Sure.
Meaning myself. My clients get that, and they receive it very well in my experience. Now, you're always going to have your ones like, Matt's going to get rid of me, and we'll have that conversation. But clients receive it well, and because ultimately, who doesn't want to be taken care of? And when we position it as, hey, this is going to be your go-to. This is Andrew, and he's going to be helping me. He's coming alongside of me. And but he's going to be your go-to point of contact.
We're going to have to connect after that first event. So I hadn't never thought of that, and you're going to announce it there.
Absolutely,
I love it. Okay, so there's that way, which is a great idea. The Flipsy though, so they come in on an annual review, or
they come. Yeah, so we've done it different ways. With one of my advisors, they would come in and do a review, and I would have that advisor in the room, right? And hey, this is so and so, this is Jordan or this is Ryan. So we've done it that way, but it's really important that you set the table accordingly.
Yes.
What I mean by that is, my clients understand it's a process, right? And it's a team approach. That is probably the most important thing that I could tell any advisor to do as you're thinking about and as you're bringing on new clients, right? Like, we're growing, right? So as we bring on new clients, we're having this conversation that, hey, it's a team approach.
So you've laid that groundwork long ago.
Long time ago, we've laid that groundwork. So I kind of need to preface that. So as the client is now as the advisor is now calling the client, let's say it's Ryan, hey, just reaching out, checking in, how you doing? Matt, we're all good here. Anything going on with you guys? Love to have you come in. If you have any concerns or questions, we can look at the plan, whatever you need. It's just that. So when they're making that phone call, they already understand. I did this from the very beginning, but they understand that it's more of a team approach, right? So it's connecting.
And so the junior advisor isn't a stranger either, because they've had interactions repeatedly.
Right. Yes. Something else too for a junior advisor. So I have some older advisors, won't mention any names, that are part of the practice, and we're having those conversations. Hey, I'm 5 years. I want out of here, right? So I'm hiring today to think about who I'm going to put in that position, and then and I know this has worked well. I have a good mentor, a good friend, and in Michigan that has said, hey, bring in that junior advisor. In like 2 years, he thinks a 2-year window, meaning that the old timer, right, is meeting, and you got the old timer, the young guy. They're having the conversation. The client is seeing them 1 or 2 times. That way, and the messaging is, hey, I'm going to be leaving soon. I'm like you. I'm going to retire, and Andrew's going to be taking over. So I want, and having that conversation and preparing for that is super important, right? And you're going to find the transition, I believe, is going to be it's the best way to possibly do it.
How do you? So have you ever had the situation where the client maybe looks past the? Well, when you do that introduction, and Andrew is going to be taking over the relationship. He's going to be your primary. Is that the last time you're in the room together with that client? Is there a set cutoff, or do you kind of wean them, if you will?
No, that's for us. It's kind of we often say that I'm always here, and if we have any of those big life events, obviously a death,
sure,
an inheritance, should we buy, sell our home? Can those kind of conversations? The advisors are going to loop me in, so that's why we have those weekly meetings. Mm-hmm. Hey, what's going on? Do I need to pop my head in there? I love it now where I'll just walk in, I'll pop my head in. Hey, how's it going? Is he taking good care of you? Oh yeah, he's great. He's better than you. Awesome. And so I do that. I find myself doing that quite often where I know the guys are in meetings and I'll just stick my head in there. Clients light up, and kind of breaks up that conversation. But it's just it's a feel good for the client. Oh, he's here.
He didn't forget about me.
Yeah, Matt's still here.
Any situations where you've had a client that just flat out said, I don't want to work with anybody else?
Yeah.
How'd you handle it?
They're still with me.
There you go. Easy peasy.
So, okay, I have a few clients that, just were adamant, and no matter how we positioned it, they're just like, no. And instead of trying to fight that battle, I'm just like, that's fine. I'll just, there's another one. I'll take this one back, and here you can have this one.
Go this one.
Yeah.
What about, if it was a fairy tale, everything would work out every time. Mm-hmm. Have there been some failed transitions, and how do you handle that, or what do you do there?
Failed transition as far as the...
Say the transition, you transition someone over to a junior, okay, and the relationship then just slowly withered and is gone.
Yeah, so we do a very good job of tracking the book. Like, is it growing? Mm-hmm. How much is market growth? How much has left the book? So I can't say that that's happened, Dennis, because I'm involved from the standpoint if there's a client that's not communicating, or if there's a client that might have an issue with something, the guys know, hey, Matt, we need to have a conversation. So we try to get in front of it. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
That totally makes sense.
So I can't say that one's gone
south or crazy or anything like that. Okay. So I think to summarize, and then I've got some rapid fire questions, and we'll get you out of here because I appreciate your time. So to summarize, if you're going to do this successfully, you need to be layering. You need to be introducing the team concept way before you make the transition.
The first meeting.
And you should anyway, because that's why are you paying staff? If you have staff, you should be introducing them and working them in, which I think that's brilliant. Two, I am so curious. It is interesting. The other thing that I just discovered in this conversation, I would have just naturally assumed you would have I'm taking the big ones and you get the shrimpy ones. But that doesn't work out because we have economics in play, which I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you at a very high level, so you don't have to get any details. But comp does come into play here. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got to keep the practice thriving. Mm-hmm. I'm very curious to hear how the group event goes. I think that's a great idea because it's a group of like-minded people that you've pre-selected. Well, it's either going to be awesome or we'll be talking about hey, what did how'd that go?
It's going to be great. People are going to love it.
I like it. Okay, so with that being said, Matt, rapid fire questions here. Okay. You stay high level. You don't have to get into detail here. When it comes to comp, do they get a salary, revenue share, or on the transitions? How do you handle that? Because it's a relationship you started.
Yes, and
remember, they're going to be listening.
That's right. So there's a salary, right? And that salary, think of that as they're doing all the service, right? They're taking care of all the service side of the book. Yeah. So we have a salary for that, and then we're going to bonus them on new dollars that they find. So the salary, though, again, I feel like we're generous. We want it to be. I want my employees to make money, right? I want them to have a great. I want them to love to come to work, right? And comp plays into that. So pay them well, right? Yep. But incentivize them to get people in the office for reviews, to have conversations, and then bonus them accordingly, right? So we kind of do hey, if you bring in $1 to $3 million of new assets, you're going to get X amount of the revenue from
Sure,
those
sure.
assets. And then, then it goes up 3 to 5, you get X amount of revenue from. So that's a way that they can be motivated. They can come in, they can feel like they're contributing versus just having annual reviews and doing reviews and the service work.
So do you, honest question here, do you ever worry about training someone up and then maybe worry about them leaving and taking some of those clients you transitioned over?
You can have some language in there that's in a contract with your employee that says, hey, if you leave, and I've done this, if you leave, whatever book that you build here, if you and you leave, you're going to pay me for it. Right?
More than fair.
It is fair, because they couldn't have done it without you, right? So I don't worry about them. From an equitable standpoint, like I'm going to be made whole, but I don't. I think some advisors worry about that. I'm just training my competition.
They come from a place of fear.
Yeah, and I know I've been able to scale my practice because I've let that go. The reality is I want the best for all my people. I tell them in the very beginning, hey, if you ever want to go, like if you're not happy here, like it's okay to go. It'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
And if some clients, follow that advisor somewhere, like I just whatever. Like I don't even think about that. I'm just next, like we're moving on to the next client, So I'm just again, I want to close the business. I want to bring the assets into the firm. I want to have the team approach. Hey, you're going to be here. You're going to be with us, but and I don't get caught up in that. Have I had the thought? Sure. Have other advisors been like, oh, what are you going to do when they leave? I'm like, well, if they're either going to be paying me or how about this? How about I pay them good enough? And I think too, again, I believe we need, as business owners, we need to really, if you got good employees, man, take care of them. I tell advisors that all the time, like, it's a good employee is hard to find. And if you find a good one, love on them, take care of them, pay them well, incentivize them, do some office trips, plan some things, make it a fun place to work.
I had another advisor on, and we were talking about doing client events, and he said what you need to look at is you need to think not so much about the fact that you are doing a client event and it has a cost, but you need to think about it in terms of how much would it cost to replace that client? Like how much work would you have to do? And it's much cheaper to do that. I didn't ask you a question. I'm going to pivot real quick. So now I know you've got a big event to do tonight. You're going to see there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to do business with you, and you're not going to have time for that. So how do you, as the head of the firm, how do you now? This is a different type of transition, but how do you? They saw you, they fell in love with you, and now you're going to bring them into.
So they're coming into the practice, and the messaging from my event, all the way through the process of them becoming a client. Right, in the event, I will talk about the team. I beat the drum. It's the team, it's the team, it's the team, it's the team. All I do anymore is really just drink coffee and talk to wonderful people like yourself. I really downplay what I do, and I really put a lot of focus on the team. Yeah. Because no one can do it. No one can do all these things by themselves well, right? So it takes a team approach. And we talk about the scope and the size of the practice in the event, and there's no way possible, I use my Marine Corps analogy, I want to be part of something bigger than myself, right? Be a part of a big team. And so when you set the table with that language, your messaging is the same all the way through, right? That's how we do it.
I love it. Okay, last couple questions here. We'll land this plane. But so as you think back now, giving young Matt Green advice, what do you think the biggest waste of time in the transition process? What was something you wasted time on and it is not a big deal? Totally off the cuff.
Oh, boy. I would say too often we think of all the ways it won't work, right? Yes. We need to just focus on figuring out how to make it work, right? Yeah. And you have to be willing and flexible, get out of your own way, swallow your pride, get input, listen to your people. That's sometimes we get in our own way.
There's a million reasons to say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, shameless plug for you, sir. If you get a chance, actually, it's for the show too, man. I'm going to be honest. You and I have had conversations. We did an episode that got down as detailed as how to select your next office. We talked about that. And you picked an office since. We had a conversation. We had a conversation on. You've been on the podcast so many times. Now I can't think. It was top of my tongue.
Holding accountable.
Yes.
Yeah, holding the CPA, the attorneys accountable.
Folks, if you get a chance, if you're a financial advisor and you want to do anything with CPAs, everyone always says take them donuts around April, and they'll just look at you like you have two heads. Take the donuts, and then you refer clients and you never get anything. Matt Green is the only conversation I've had with somebody who actually knows how to hold CPAs accountable. You want to check that episode out. That's a teaser. That's a hell of a teaser. Matt, thank you so much for being on here. Pleasure. And everybody else, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, follow the show. That way when I drop a new episode, you're the first to know. The other thing is, I get great show ideas from you, the viewer. I had someone that said, hey, I'm thinking about transitioning some people over to my junior advisors. I don't know how to do it. And we found the man himself. So if you have that, let me know what it is. Shoot me an email, direct message, however you want to communicate. We love it. We'll see you next episode.
Thank you.
That was awesome. That's it. That was good.
So I couldn't remember.